to Touchstone Chats. My name is Shanice Bowman. I am the programs manager at Touchstone Foundation, and I'm joined by...
My name is Yakahiris.
Hi, Yakahiris. Yakahiris is a recipient of our 2022 Mental Health Career Scholarship. Thank you so much for your time and for helping us promote the scholarship program. I'm just going to start with a little bit of program information. So in July of 2022, we awarded scholarships to undergraduate students to develop the workforce to meet the demand for mental health care for youth in Lancaster County. Now, originally, this program was supporting nursing scholarships, and we do still support nursing scholarships, but we shifted our focus in July of 2022 because Touchstone Foundation is a youth mental wellness foundation. We wanted to help support students who are entering the mental health field. So we awarded 4 new scholarships, yours being one of them, investing in over $25,000 and an average of $6,400 per student. We also continue to support our nursing scholarships, those who were recipients before the shift of focus, investing in over $31,500 for 6 nursing students. So this program is long-standing here at Touchstone, but we did shift our focus, like I said before, to mental health careers, and that includes social work majors, psychology majors, sociology majors, or psych NPs, so nursing students who are focusing on psych. Touchstone Foundation has partnered with the Steinman Foundation, so we are able to help support not only undergraduate students, but also graduate students who are in their master's programs under the same majors. So both undergraduate and graduate students apply using our online application portal, which can be found on our website. And all students can apply through Touchstone Foundation online portal, like I just said. So both undergraduate students and graduate students, no matter what year of schooling you are in, you use our portal to apply. So applications are live, they are open, they can be found on our website, and they are due May 15th. So I just want you to take the opportunity to explain your process with applying. I'm going to start out with you just introducing yourself and your name and your school and your major.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. My name is Yakahiris. I am, like she said, I am a 2022 recipient of the undergrad Touchstone Scholarship. I am a second-year undergrad at the University of Pittsburgh as an applied developmental psych major with a minor in social work and a children's literature certificate.
That sounds awesome. So what inspired you to pursue a career in mental health?
Yeah. So I grew up in a culture where mental health wasn't really spoken about. That came along with not being informed about what mental health was, which can be really difficult when you're growing up and you're going through the many changes of life, and then sudden feelings of that are difficult to process and understand and learn how to cope with those started happening. I went through a time period of my childhood where I experienced some traumatic events that many children of immigrant parents sometimes unfortunately have to go through. So I had a lot of pent-up emotions that I didn't know how to handle. Mm-hmm. Alongside that, I started going through a lot of self-doubt about what my future would look like. And so a lot of these moments led to a lot of anxious feelings that at the time I didn't even know had a name to it. I didn't think I would be able to speak to anyone, one, because I didn't know what was happening and I didn't know it needed attention to. I wasn't sure if people would understand. And lastly, because there was a negative stigma on mental health, specifically when it came to children. So all of these moments kind of clouded my judgment that I fell into a pretty deep hole until I started learning about what mental health was. And I eventually learned that I wanted to be an advocate for those who needed assistance but didn't know how to get the help that they may need. I wanted to be that person that I needed when I was a kid. When you're growing up and life is scary, and like it gets even scarier when you feel really small and alone. And obviously, my story isn't going to apply to everyone's, but I do know that I can really be an advocate for community and demonstrating that kids need equal amount of attention when it comes to their mental health. I want to be able to help learn how to cope with those and how to help for the kids that they can fully immerse themselves into and live a really happy childhood. And I really intend to do that through school-based therapy.
Oh my gosh, you just said, like, I can relate to you so much. You said so much, such a beautiful story. I can relate to the cultural aspect where you don't really discuss mental health, and I can also relate to just, I don't know what I'm feeling right now, so I don't even know how to express it. Like, I just know that I'm anxious and I'm overwhelmed. And was there someone in your life who kind of gave you that door and allow you to express how you was feeling, or did you just know, I want to get into this because I didn't have that specific person when I needed it?
Yeah, so I originally wanted to be a pediatrician. It was always a dream, but then I started learning about social work, and that came into light when I was in sixth grade when I met with a family encouraging service. Her name was Miss Bickelli. She's now Dr. Bickelli. She really showed me the importance of mental health, and since then I've been slowly pursuing that goal and adapting and adding my story into my career goal.
That's so great. So you are at the University of Pittsburgh, but you are a Lancaster County resident, and you
Yes.
went to what elementary school?
I went to Carter McRae.
Me too, me too. Yes. So, did you have a favorite teacher there?
I did. I had many favorite teachers, I would say, but the one who most was impactful for me, her name was Miss Wolford, but now she goes by Miss Stolfus. She was my ESL teacher for a few years, so she was really what made my educational career flourish. I obviously was a Spanish-speaking student, so I learned the English language through her. In about 4 years, I tested out, but even then, we still have a really good communication between each other. She cheers me on, and yeah, I'd like to thank Miss Wolford or Miss Stolfus, who really helped me grow as a person. And there's many other teachers that I could keep naming.
Yes.
The elementary school was great. I loved it, and I like to say that they planted a seed, and I flourished. I would say I had a lot of educational success, and that's all thanks to Carter McRae.
Yes, I can relate. A lot of my favorite teachers came from Carter McRae.
Mhm.
I don't know if Mr. Cook was there when you was there. Mr. and
No.
Miss Cook. They were like, yeah, they were dating while I was there, and then they got married. But I love them, and I had both of them. So I want you to talk about your future plans for coming back to Lancaster County.
Yeah, so I am currently like in the process of doing an accelerated master, so I do need to stay in Pitt for an additional year if everything lines up. But I would like to go back to Carter McRae actually as a school-based therapist. Like I mentioned, they gave me a lot, and it was truly an experience. That school, there are a lot of teachers who are there because they love it. It's not a job to them. They know that there are many children who are going through certain background life situations, but they are able to adapt to that, and it was a good experience. So I want to be able to give back to that, and I also think it's really important for the students that are there to see that I was once a student. I was walking those halls, but now I pursued the career, I pursued my dreams, and it just shows that it doesn't matter the circumstances that may come their way. It's possible to make those dreams and aspirations a reality.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can relate so much. I remember going back for some reason or another, and the hallways looked so much smaller than what they were when I was.
Yeah, I agree. I always remember that school being so much bigger that when I visited, or even seeing pictures, it's a new school to me. I don't
Right.
remember some of the things and or some of the teachers, but yeah.
But when I walked through, I was like that warm feeling of like safety and security. And I went throughout the whole school district of Lancaster, but Carter McRae in particular just felt like home.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It felt like home to me, and it still feels like home, obviously, if they made such an impact on my educational career.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about the application process a little bit. So applicants must be a permanent resident of Lancaster County, which you are at the time of application, or working in healthcare in Lancaster County. So the scholarships are awarded for the duration of your program. So if you're an undergraduate student and you have 2 more years left, we will support you through graduation. The same with a graduate student and you have a year or so left, the scholarship will continue until you graduate. So that's just a couple of points. Applicants must be admitted. So when you apply for the scholarship, you must already have an acceptance letter from a university. The scholarships are to cover tuition only. The students are eligible If students are eligible for 100% tuition reimbursement from their employer, you're not eligible for the scholarship. So it is tuition coverage only. It's not going to cover books. It's not going to cover housing, but it would cover your tuition or help support covering your tuition. If when you accept the scholarship from Touchstone Foundation, you are agreeing to work full-time in mental health clinical care in Lancaster County for each year the scholarship funding is awarded. So if you have 2 years left to your program is completed and we have supported you for those 2 years, after you graduate, you agree to come back to Lancaster County or remain in Lancaster County and work in the mental health field. So it's all online. You can visit our website. You can schedule a meeting with me if you're unsure, if you don't qualify. But I really want to talk about your process through the application and how you found it to be challenging or not challenging, how writing your essay was, like how did you hear about the scholarship? We could start there, and then you can probably share, the process of completing the scholarship up until you were awarded.
Yeah. So I remember Valerie. She's someone who came into my life about 3 years ago. She was the one who sent me the link. I was at work, I remember, and I was looking through it, and I was at a time where I was really uncertain about my financial situation. After my high school graduation, I was awarded 2 scholarships that were valid for a year. And obviously, I was really grateful for those. But after that year, I had a rough period of wondering what the next years of college were going to look like, or if they were even going to be possible. And like we all know, college can be really expensive. And it's something that I had been saving up for years. I managed a lot of jobs when I was in high school. I have 2 part-time jobs that I took up as a freshman in college, and I still have. But even then, that could really only cover so much. So I decided to take a chance and I applied. I was also starting to wonder if I wanted to come back to Lancaster after graduation. So I took it as a sign of whether or not this meant that I had to come back. And it's when the scholarship came to light, and it also made me want to apply. And I took it that if I was awarded, then I knew that my chapter in Lancaster wasn't over. I wasn't sure if I was going to get an interview because I haven't had the best luck with scholarships. And it had also been a few months since I've gone through the scholarship application process. So that was also new to me. But what kept me really grounded was actually writing that essay. It is something that I actually ended up being really proud of. And to this day, I read over if I ever need a reminder about why I'm pursuing what I'm pursuing. I am a first-generation Mexican-American daughter. So my cultures and my upbringings were a little complex. Obviously, I grew up in Lancaster, was born and raised in Lancaster. So I got to meet different cultures and upbringings. So when I started to grow up, I started to stray away from some of those generational upbringings. And then when you do that, it can be really detrimental to some like family dynamics or to your culture as well. But it's really necessary, I would say, for your own self-identity. And that's the path that I took. And obviously, I'm still trying to work through that. I came from a diverse background, and I'm now attending a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. And I didn't know how much my culture and the culture around me was impactful. And I took it for granted, I would say. And I realized that when I lost that, and as much as I do love Pitt, I felt like there was a series of self-identity issues and a feeling of not belonging. I also reached a point where I simply thought I was meeting statistic requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these like small like moments in my life is what made my essay a possibility. I specifically wrote about an alternate universe that I would have had if my parents didn't leave Mexico over 20 years ago to give my older brother a better and more stable life, which is something I'll forever be grateful for. It led me to giving me opportunities and a new path that I'm slowly trying to figure out. I remember the interview process. I was really nervous since I tend to be on the quieter side. But even though there was a lot of people on the Zoom, if I remember correctly, I felt a sense of belonging and there were many encouraging moments. And I remember I finally felt at ease when we had that connection of Carter McRae. There aren't a lot of people that go to Carter McRae, so it made me feel really special, and it led me to open up about like why I wanted to pursue the career I wanted, who I am, and who I wanted to be in the next few years. Mm-hmm. I also remember the award notification. Also wasn't sure if I was going to get an award notification. I had reached the point of my summer where I was pretty drained of working every day, or even wondering if returning to Pitt was possible. I was at work that day and I received a notification, and I was filled with many emotions. I immediately dropped the cups that I was holding, and the first person I called was my older brother. We're 8 years apart, but even then, I do like to say we have a really good bond, and he's someone who knows exactly what it feels like to finally get that win after of chasing and constantly working for what you want. That's who I wanted to share my moment with.
Oh, such a beautiful story. I do want to touch on the timeline because you can get a little antsy, like, am I going to get it or not? So there is like some periods where it's like, well, I haven't heard anything. And that's because the committee is reviewing applications and we're going through the process. So I do want to touch on the timeline because I think that's very important. So like we said, applications are due May 15th. And then there is an interviewing process, and interviews typically take place in July. So between May and July, there's a lot of determinations going on, a lot of budgeting discussions, all of that takes place. And then we do meet with the interview candidates in July. After that interview, you will receive a notification. And if you are awarded, your school will be notified. And we're trying to push that back a little bit, if you will, or push it up, however you want to say it, so that the awards are dispersed before the semester begins and you're not like, worried that your tuition is not going to be covered or that you still owe something when the semester has already began. So the timeline is also on our website because there is a period of like quietness before you hear back from us. And we'll try to do better in communicating that. But there is a period where the committee has to review the applications, and then we determine the interview candidates, and then we have the interviews, and then we determine the awards, and then we disperse the awards. So you bring up a very good point to like not keep the applicants waiting too long to hear back from us. So thank you for that. And I also wanted to, you talked about how the award has made a difference in you pursuing your education. Can you just talk about that briefly a little bit more?
Yeah, not only has it given me a chance to actually pursue the college degree, but it also gave me a lot of motivation to want to continue the dreams that I've been chasing. I remember there were many people in my educational career that doubted that I would succeed in high school or even graduate high school. There were also a lot of people who didn't think I would get into college, or I remember that Pitt wasn't an option for me, apparently, but nevertheless, here I am. So it gave me obviously the financial stability that I now have, but it also felt like someone had given me a chance and believed that my plan was worth a scholarship.
Thank you. And do you have any advice for those who are interested in applying, or do you have any advice for people who are looking to get into the mental health field, but they don't know if they're, quite ready or if they'll be supported throughout that journey?
Yeah, I would say that Authenticity is key. It's really important to keep that in mind. We may not always know what others are going through and those emotions and the events, but what we can do is be a listening ear and learn alongside them. And those who are specifically going into the mental health field should know that they are advocates, and that through that, it's really important to learn how to be authentic and speak the truth, who may need a guiding hand. I also think it's really important to know that sometimes mental health will have a negative stigma, but it takes a lot of courage and strength to do what many mental health field jobs do. And that's something to do with great pride, because not everyone can do it. And it's not simply just talking to people, there's much more to that. And so if you're able to do that, you should know that you're creating a big change in the world.
That is great. Yeah, that's great advice. I agree. It's not just talking to people. Therapy and mental health has evolved so much to where you can pretty much cater your services that you need and find a therapist because of students like you who are entering the field and realize that there are alternative ways to seek therapy. Any advice for students who want to apply for a scholarship?
Yeah, I would definitely encourage other people to apply for the scholarship. It's a really great opportunity, and these kind of opportunities don't always happen. So I recommend not letting them get out your sight, because much of like what I thought while applying is that you never know what may happen. Obviously, it can be really scary, thinking of the what if you don't get awarded and the feeling of not given a chance. But I also think it's really important to think about the what if you do get awarded and what you can do with this award and how it's a step closer to your educational journey.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, the Mental Health Career Scholarship, it is open now. Applications are open. If you're having any trouble with creating an account, if you feel like you're not in the right application, if you don't think you qualify, if you do think you qualify, please feel free. Don't hesitate to reach out to myself. My email address is on the website, but I am open to help those who are interested in applying get through the application process. Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, we appreciate you. I hope you are enjoying your spring break.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We're going to end the live here, but please make sure you check out our website for further details regarding the Mental Health Career Scholarship. Like I said, we do support undergraduate students, and with the generous sponsorship from Steinman Foundation, we are able to support graduate students as well for those who are majoring in mental health careers. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, you too. Bye.
Talk to you soon.